Good evening, vinyl community. It's Wednesday night, and I'm here with those top 20 psychedelic progressive albums. These are the ones that I've been looking for, the ones that I took a long time to find, but I actually got them all together. I still have about 15 more albums I'm looking for, so I'm cutting out a lot of my thrift store buying. I haven't bought any records this week. I went to a place today, but I was looking for these 15 that I'm looking for. I also have one coming in the mail. That's going to be, I'll show that one on Saturday. Should be here tomorrow or the next day. That's going to be a really, really great album. Let's run through these 20 real quick, and then if you have any questions, fill them out at the bottom there. Just go ahead and write down what your questions are, and I'll get back to you. And if you like and see what you see on North Carolina Vinyl Pickers show, well then go ahead and sub me up and hit the bell. And I want to thank all my new subscribers. I'm over 350. I'm heading towards 400. Just want to let everybody know the big box is going out tomorrow. It's in 2 boxes. So the person that's going to be getting it, keep an eye on your porch, because you never know who that person in the vinyl community is going to be the one to pick up that big box. Big box is. There's 2 of them. So that person's going to be really surprised, and this is going to be the last of the 3 big boxes from me. Next month we're going to be doing a push to 400, and I'm going to be doing a contest, and I'm going to be announcing that contest this Saturday night. It'll be released, but it'll be during the probably come out during the sale that they're going to be having, the vinyl community sale with Patrick this weekend in the Wax. So it'll be Saturday night sometime, or Sunday it'll be released, and I'll go ahead and tell you about the contest. But make sure you tune in to the record sale that's going to be happening Saturday night. It's going to be epic. Okay, here you go. So the first one I want to show you is Quartermass. Yeah, this album here I looked and looked and looked for. I think I finally found it on eBay. British, Peter Robinson, keyboardist. They were active from 69 to 71, prog rock. He went on to be in 1970. Peter Robinson went on to be on Jesus Christ Superstar album, and then later on he was in a lot of different bands. He played with Phil Collins. He played with Brand X. He played with Zin Zin with Morris Pert, and you can look him up on Wikipedia. He's played with a lot of different people, but he's one of my favorite keyboardists of all time. Peter Robinson and Quartermass. Next album up. Oh, For the Girls Who Grow Plump in the Night, Caravan. I love this album. This is one of my favorite albums by Caravan. This is actually a promo. For the Girls Who Grow Plump in the Night, 1973. They were formed in Canterbury, UK, and it's got a nice promo sticker on there. You can see it up there, right in here, right there. There she is, right over there. So yeah, what a great album this is, and it's got the punch hole. Everybody should own a little bit of Caravan in their collection. These are in no particular order. These are just the 20 albums I've found that I really love, and I'm going to put them in a separate section because I play them all the time. Journey to the Center of the Eye, Nectar, their very first album. Repress, this is a repress, and this was recorded in 1971. They were a UK band that were formed in Hamburg, Germany in 1969. This was their very first album. Journey to the Center of the Eye. I have all their studio albums now. I'm lacking 3 of their solo albums. I mean live albums. 3 of their live albums. Sebastian Hardy, Australian. This album is called 4 Moments. It came out in 1976, and it was the first symphonic rock band from Sydney in 1967. First symphonic rock band from Australia. And it came out in the 1967. Oh, the band formed in 67. This album came out in 76. And they had a follow-up album to this, was called Field Chase or something like that. but then they ended up changing their name to that. But this was their album. This was the one they're known for, and this is the one that I just picked up recently on eBay, and I got it for a really good price. It was around $10 with shipping, but awesome. I would say it has moments of psychedelia, and it also has lots of has some rock and some prog in it. Little new age maybe. Sun Treader. Showed this not too long ago. This album was another one that was hard to find. Been looking for this album probably for about 40 years. Actually, I found it. I've been waiting for a good price on a copy, and I got it off of eBay. I think I paid around $20 for it. It has Morris Pert and Peter Robinson from Brand X. This was pre-Brand X, and this was after Quartermass. So this was Peter Robinson's band after he left Quartermass. And this is a fusion band, like Brand X. And then Peter Robinson was later on Mask for Brand X, the album that Phil Collins is not on. So they picked up Peter Robinson to play keyboards, and then Peter Robinson was on Product, and the next album where Phil came back. It's a more commercial album, but Mask is a really good, and that's when I seen them. That's when I saw Brand X in Baltimore, Maryland, with Peter Robinson. Ready for the next one? Here we go. Arc 2. Name of the band is Flaming Youth. Is with a young Phil Collins right there. 1969. This is an OG copy, and was inspired by the moon landing. The album is kind of like it talks about a man leaving a burning earth, and each member sings in a song on here. So each member has its own song to sing, and Phil Collins sings on here, and this is before he went to Genesis. So you can hear a young Phil Collins singing on this album from 1969, Arc 2. This wasn't an easy find either. I found that one on eBay. Matter of fact, I think I found just about every one of these albums on eBay, unless it was a repress, and then I probably picked it up at a record store. Electric Prunes. That's one I did find in a record store, and this one is an OG, and it's in minty mint shape. And it's 1967. The name of the album is called Underground. They formed in LA in 1965. Somebody said that they sounded eerie, sometimes an anguished ambiance. The Electric Prunes. Supposedly this is their best album, but I don't have their first album, so I'll have to give that one a listen. I have their third album. I wasn't real crazy about it, so I'll have to pick up their first album. This is their second album, I believe, and this was considered to be their best. Next one up, Tomorrow, with Steve Howe. This is before he joined Yes, and then was after Peter Banks left Yes. This album is 1976 re-release, repress. This album came out actually in '68. DJ John Peel from the Perfume Garden said this was one of the first psychedelic bands. 1968. Tomorrow with Steve Howe. Yes. Before the Yes album. He's on Time of the Word. Yes, Steve Howe was on the cover, but he wasn't on the album. Peter Banks was on the album, but they have a picture of Steve Howe on there with the rest of them, but he wasn't even on the album. How about this one here? This is the die cut, In Search of Ancient Gods. This was based on the book of Eric von Däniken. This album came out in 1976, and it has William Bruford on it. This is an outstanding psych prog album. All these albums are prog and psych. Con, Space Shanty with Steve Hillage. 2006 reissue. This is a 180 gram limited to 500 copies. Fish Rising, which is the album I have coming from eBay, was to be Con's second album, but it ended up being a Steve Hillage solo album. Fish Rising. It'll be Steve Hillage's first album, and then I have all his rest of them. But as they got further on, they weren't as progressive and then Steve went to Gong. So Space Shanty, another excellent album. These are all must-haves. If you love psychedelia and progressive rock, these are all must-haves. These are the creme de la creme. These are the top. As far as I'm concerned, North Carolina Von Picker. These are my 20. I'm sure everybody has their own 20. Okay, here we go. Here's another band you boys and girls may not know, but they're called Arzaccio, and this was a 2002 Italian reissue. The name of the band was actually called Uriel. They formed in 1968. They were a psych blues band with Steve Hillage and Dave Stewart, and later they went on to be Egg, which they made 3 albums. I have them all on CD, and I've shown them before. But yeah, we'd love to get them on vinyl, but they're very expensive. Matter of fact, the first album just went up for sale on eBay, and someone bought it. I bid up to $51, and I lost out. It just kept on going. So yeah, I got out of it at $50. But I'm going to be getting all 3 of them someday. Especially the first 2. Those are the best. Egg with Dave Stewart. And this is Arzaccio. We got a few more to go through here. How about the Zombies? Odyssey and Oracle. This one right here is a 2015 reissue. They were from St. Albans in Hertfordshire, UK. Rod Argent and Colin Blunstone were in the Zombies. And Ron Argent went on to be doing the Hold Your Head Up later on, back when I was in school, high school stuff. But the Zombies were a little before my time. But I love the Zombies. Odyssey and Oracle, of course, are their masterpiece. So you need to pick this one up. There's another one to pick up. A Blue Cheer. There's another great album. Vincebus Eruptus, released in 1968. Second press I have here. They were from San Francisco, and the band was managed originally by a member of Hell's Angels, from what I read. But this is a band that was from San Fran. I'm sure Mazzy knows all about Blue Cheer. This is also their best album, from what I've been told. And I got 3 albums here by Love. Forever Changes, the 3rd album, probably their best album. This is 180 gram 2012 reissue, and the final album with their current lineup at the time. Kind of doing these in reverse. This is their 2nd album. I just picked this up the other day. This is Di Capo, 1966 OG in stereo. This is the mono. It says misprint on the back. It says mono on it, but it's not a mono. It's a stereo version. So this one here was easy to find in Discogs, because I just looked it up, and then they said, hey, if you got this one, it's this, this, and this. So there you go. This is their 2nd album. The band is called Love. Here's Love's 1st album coming in. There it is. I was able to find this one. Arthur Lee. He was from Memphis, but he grew up in L.A. He wanted to form a band with folk sounds of the Byrds with a little rhythm and blues mixed in. That was his goal. So there you go. There's Love. This is their 1st album. This is the OG on the gold label, and I was able to find this over in Asheville, and I had to pay up a little bit. I think I paid $40 for it, but you just don't see these records in the wild. You got to go to a record store, or you got to get them off of Discogs, or you got to get them off of eBay. You're not gonna. I don't know if anybody that's ever found these in a Goodwill or someplace. I mean, it could happen. You could find one, but I wish I could find one. I would have to pay $40. Here's 13 Floor Elevators. Here's another great album. 2012 reissue. This band was from Austin, Texas. It was formed by Rocky Erickson with psychedelic rock. If you don't know the 13th Floor Elevators, you need to give them a listen. How about McDonald and Giles? This was pre-King Crimson, 1970. The album is a 1970 Island release, but the record jacket is a 1971 jacket, because in the 1970 it was green down here. The lettering was in green. Mine is in pink. So I've looked it up and I decided that the record is in the wrong sleeve. It's the right album, but somehow the person maybe had two copies and got them mixed up, because the album is a 1970 release, first pressing, and then the jacket is a second pressing. So Steve Winwood's also on here on one track. Young Steve Winwood. He would have been what, in the Spencer? He was in Traffic then? Spencer Davis group. How about the American Physiological Circus? Joe Bird, 1972 repress of a 1968 album, recorded after his departure from the United States of America, which is the band, not the country. This is a great album. You don't have this album, there's another one to grab. If you can grab all 20 of these, good luck. It took me a long time to collect all these, and I'm still looking for more. Here's the United States of America. This is the final album for tonight. This is founded in L.A., the band, Joe Bird. Earliest use of electric devices in rock history. That's what they said. And Joe Bird went on to be in the Joe Bird and the Field Hippies on the second album. Another great album. I found this in a record store in Hickory. I think I paid $10 for it. So it's got one little, I think it's got a skip on one song, but it was well worth it. These are the ones I'm looking for. I have, see, I got 15 albums on here that I want to get, that I'm going to be looking for. I'm not going to stop until I get them, and I'm also not going to be buying anything else until I find these 15. So there you go. That's my plan. We'll stick to it. Hopefully I can get this all done by the end of the year. I might have to add a few more on here as we go. Afters by Hatfield in the North, and these are all on vinyl. The Rotters Club by Hatfield in the North. I want that on vinyl. Have it on CD. Clutching at Straws, Marillion. 5 Miles Out, Mike Oldfield. Shiloh. Shiloh was a band that Don Henley was in before the Eagles. And the name of the album is Shiloh, the name of the band is Shiloh, and the album is really rare, and it goes for a lot of money. Tori Amos, before she was Tori Amos, her actual first name is Ellen. Ellen Amos, and the single's called Baltimore, and I think it only had a couple hundred copies that were released, maybe a little more than that. And the seat 45 is hard to find, but I've been digging high and low looking for it. To buy one on eBay will cost you $1,500, $2,000. Desperado by the Eagles, that'll be an easy one to check off my list. I don't have a copy of that. I want to get an early pressing. 2 albums by David Bowie, Honky Dory and The Man Who Sold the World. Original pressings of those. Camel's first album, I'm looking for that, with Pete Bardens. Oh, I love Pete Bardens. That's another great keyboardist that I have to do a show on my probably top 10 keyboardists, because once you get down lower than that, it's just those are average keyboardists. But I think I'd like to do like my top 10 keyboardists. Eggs, 3 albums on vinyl. The band Egg, we just discussed that. And then Peter Robinson's band, after he left Quartermass, he was in a band, I guess about the same time as he did Jesus Christ Superstar, was Absolution, or Ablution, Ablution, Ablution. That album there is very hard to get on vinyl copy, so I may have to settle for a CD on that. So there you go. Psych albums, not just the same 5 anymore. So there's a lot more than 5 albums that people are talking about in the vinyl community as far as goes psych music. There's lots of psych music out there, and I'm going to be showing. I just pulled 20. I'm going to pull another 20, and I'm going to do this next Wednesday. So this coming Saturday, I'm not going to have any new stuff to show you, boys and girls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my whole entire collection. I'm going to go A through Z. I'm going to pull out, as I'm doing this, I'm going to pull out my doubles, and I'm going to make sure they all have the liners in them. And if they got any extra paper or something like sleeves and stuff in there, if they're like smoky and stuff and been in like a house that had smoked and stuff, I'm going to get rid of them. I shouldn't have any more, but as I go through these, I'm going to check them out. I'm going to pull maybe 30, 40 records, maybe 50. I think I can cruise through 50 records in 20 minutes and tell you about them. So that's what I'm going to do. Starting Saturday night, we're going to go through my entire collection, and I'm going to pull out my doubles, and my doubles will go to the other room, and then those will go out for VCLT, because I'm all about giving back to the community. And I got the big box going out, and I want you all to be safe out there, and I want you to support the troops, and God bless them. And I'll be talking to you all on Saturday night, and we're going to go through my record collection of about 1,500 albums, and we're going to go A through Z, and that should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing it. So that way there, I'll also at the same time I can get them all. They're all organized. They're all alphabetical. But I can go ahead and clean it up a little bit as I go through and pull out them doubles. So we'll be talking to you soon, and that person should be keeping an eye on your porch, because you don't know who's going to be getting that big box. It's going in the mail tomorrow. So y'all have a great rest of your evening. Talk to you soon. North Carolina, pick her out.